What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, bringing you Monday energy. We have some exciting anime shows to be talking about. We're gonna call it our shot and chaser, and we'll explain why. So,
I think everyone who's watching both shows already knows.
like what? Yes.
I mean, shot chaser is something where like it's the lead and then the follow-up. It's usually things that go together. This is more the shot hurts and the chasers to make you feel better. So you can guess which show's going first.
Yeah. We also have some anime news and Overwatch and more. So stay tuned for all that. I'm Carrie Lane.
I'm Katie Cullen. Hi, all my buddies.
And we have a live chat going on. So if you're in the live chat, welcome. And if you're watching later, no worries. Comment down below. Thank you, everybody who tunes in each week. We've said it before, but we'll keep saying it. We see those numbers. We see you coming back. So thank you. All right. And then speaking of live chat, we got John Knight. Hi, ladies. I finished The Devil as a Part-Timer Season 2 dub finale.
Nice.
I have not checked out that one yet.
It's been so long since I've watched part 1. I feel like I would need to do a rewatch before I watch the next season. Just to be like, who are these people again?
Oh, and one we will talk about, because I found out Katie watched it, we'll probably talk a little bit about Chainsaw Man too. So
yeah, there's a story behind me getting into horror things, and we can either do it
under
now
things or we're excited.
No, actually, it's a path of least resistance thing. This happens multiple times with me and my roommate, where she'll watch something spooky and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go upstairs and insert activity here. And then I just don't leave the room and I wind up watching it with her. And this started with a movie called From Dusk Till Dawn. For those of you who are familiar with Dusk Till Dawn, you will find this bit hilarious. From those of you who are not familiar with From Dusk Till Dawn, go into it unspoiled. It's actually quite good. But my roommate put on From Dusk Till Dawn, and I'm sitting here going, well, I know it's a vampire movie. I'll just stick around until the vampires show up. And if you've seen the movie, you know when the vampires show up, and it's not the cold open like I thought it was. So by the time we get there, I'm invested. And that's kind of what happened here. That's why I'm watching Chucky with her this season now, because the kill counts have been covering it and I'm caught up. So it's like, okay, we'll watch it. And now I'm intrigued because it's good. And then this time it was she'd already seen half the episode. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go take care of something. She's like, okay, I'll put on the second half of Chainsaw Man. And then I just didn't move. So I saw the second half of the episode and went, man, the animation's really good. And I guess I'm watching it now. So like, all of my, I'm probably not going to watch it. I don't handle horror super well. I don't handle gore super well. Well, here we are. This is not a Chainsaw Man recap show. I love
No,
it
is not.
I've seen half the episode.
Okay.
I have literally seen half the episode.
Because we're talking about it a little bit. No, we already covered 2 shows, but since we both watched some of it, briefly acknowledge it. I looked up. It is by Mappa, so the animation you might be very familiar. It has the Jujutsu Kaisen and final season of Attack on Titan, like that really fluid, a lot of computer, which I'm like, well, let's see where it goes.
But it's the same compositing team as Jujutsu Kaisen, and they are good at what they do.
It's gorgeous. There were some things early in the episode of like how we move through it that I was like, interesting, but we'll see where it goes. It is definitely high gore content that if that's not your thing, it's a lot. I'm here for it. Super fun, and I'm really curious where it's going to go. So no spoilers.
The mangaka did a lot of work in the manga, and again, neither of us have read it, no spoilers. But he did a lot of work in terms of panel structure and sizing and fluidity. Like a lot of the manga is very experimental in how he presents things and how his paneling and setup work. And a bunch of that was attempting to emulate camera works and whatnot from movies, cinema, etc., which is also why the opening theme is just this love letter to all these different bits of cinema and TV and whatnot. So the structure of the manga and the flow of the panels and whatnot actually translate really well to the screen, because you don't have to try to interpret a Sam Raimi camera shot into manga panels. You can just do a Sam Raimi camera shot in your anime. So it's It's very interesting. It's good stuff. It's good
We
stuff.
got
I'm not gonna lie. I watched the Mother's Basement ones to watch for fall video, partially to see if I could get my opinions confirmed, and partially maybe to pick up some new ones. So some of this is research coming from him, but some of it is also just discussions I've come across elsewhere. So I'm not gonna stand here and be like, yes, I'm the one that figured it out. No. We parrot the greats.
Charles says there's such massive hype around Chainsaw Man. It's hard not to watch. Yes, I will admit, part of me is like, well, everyone's talking about it. Sure, let's check it out. I will most of the time give an anime the benefit of the doubt and check out like the first 3 episodes, especially if it's super popular. Be like, all right, well, let's see what the hype is. Charles also followed up with very Western influenced.
We go back to Sam Raimi camera angles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and say it's easy not to check it out if it's not your thing. Like, no shame for looking at this and going, like, again, doing what I did and going, boy, that's a lot of gore. I don't think I'm going to be into that.
Yes.
Sometimes I can handle it okay, and sometimes I have days where it's like, I'm going to watch that, and then I'm going to put on an episode of the 10-minute Power Hour and just kind of, for a minute.
Yeah, it's very, very gory, but there's some good feels there too. John Knight says, maybe I should watch Chainsaw Man when the dub comes out, which shout out to Ryan Colt Levy being our protagonist. So, woo!
And he
cool.
advocated for himself before, like, he heard that the anime was happening and straight up sent an email advocating for himself to be in the show. So, like, make it happen, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Make it happen.
Also, quick shout out. I think I put it up real quick, but howdy, is it from Giga Derek? Yes. So let's get back to that. So that was just our quick thing talking about Chainsaw Man because it's something we're excited about.
Yeah. Did you make that banner on the fly?
I did. I was like,
bless.
I was like, wait, we should talk about it.
Wait, Katie's telling her weird anecdote. I have time. Legit though, watch From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes,
like if you're into horror, watch From Dusk Till Dawn. It's help me with the filmmaker name. I can't remember.
That's hold on, Rodriguez.
You know? Yes.
Because that's the same person who did Planet Terror.
Yeah. So if you're into that,
I'm blanking. I'm sorry to cut you off there. I was gonna say real quick. But I'm blanking on his first name. But Rodriguez, or it's one of those. But anyways, yes, I think it's Robert Rodriguez. As I recall, he was a cinematographer and then became a director. Or likes to have that kind of connection, which makes sense because you have a visual style you want to accomplish. So
yeah,
very cool.
Yeah. And I mean, again, if you're gonna watch From Dusk Till Dawn, go in unspoiled. You already know from my story that it does involve vampires and that it doesn't involve vampires in the first 5 minutes, but like just go for it. It's fun. It's wild. It's fun.
Yes. Real quick things we're excited about that's news.
So many.
Animation Film Festival is opening this Friday. Their opening night is going to be, which we talked about it. I'm like,
Wendell
and Wild.
I'm so excited.
The thing is Jordan Peele and Keegan Michael Key will be attending that red carpet opening night Animation Film Festival, which is in Hollywood.
Director Henry Selick is doing a Q&A after the screening.
Yes.
So for those going, Henry Selick, why do I know that name? Nightmare Before Christmas, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was Tim Burton. He produced. Henry Selick directed.
Yes. So that is 7 p.m. is the movie. There's also a Q&A, which if you live in Los Angeles and you're able and feel comfortable going to film festivals, highly recommend, because this is the opportunity to be in the same room with the filmmakers and participate in the Q&A. You might be able to ask them your questions.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a good time. It's always a treat when there's a Q&A. Like, it's always so nice to get that little peek behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm. And then stay tuned because Fanversation will probably be at that festival. Charles pointed out Tarantino, correcting on the typo.
That's
wrote
right.
It. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yep.
All right. Then other exciting news. Did you want me to say it or you want to go with the you?
Oh, I have the music festival one.
Yes,
open,
all right.
So
I'll say it real quick because I started. So Yu Hakusho 30th anniversary Blu-ray box set is arriving January 31st, 2023 from Crunchyroll. So pre-plan your Christmas gift for yourself.
Me putting money aside in my little treat yourself account for like, okay, and this is set aside for the Black Milk Zelda collection this week, and this is set aside for Yu Yu Hakusho in January. Like, we budget in this household. So, yep.
Yes. The other one too, looking at a couple other titles coming out, The Stranger by the Shore, a beautiful queer romance, which I covered that. Go check out my review on Fanversation. That one's coming to limited edition Blu-ray, as well as Black Clover Season 3. Sasaki and Miona and Sabikui Bisco, and more. So be checking those out. So that's exciting because, I mean, I know we like our stuff online and streaming, but physical copies.
It is really nice to have the DVDs in your hot little hands. And I say that as someone who owns Dot Hack Sign, like the old DVD collections. And sometimes it's nice to just be like, I'm just going to deal with that. I don't want to worry about a streaming service. I don't want to worry about if I have a subscription. And sometimes you cannot find the old stuff. So secondhand DVDs, baby. Secondhand DVDs, or this, where they're like, let's just do a nice brand new collection that has all sorts of behind the scenes. And I think, don't they have like a voice actor reunion on one of those? They gave talks about, like, there's all sorts of behind the scenes commentary tracks on various episodes. There is all sorts of special features. There is a new dub for several of the OVAs that haven't been dubbed before. Like, it's the premiere collection for Yu Yu Hakusho.
And for more information on that, I clicked the link to go through. You need to go to, and you can pre-order, because that's the other exciting thing. Pre-order is available now. Where to go? All titles mentioned are now available for pre-order and can be streamed on Crunchyroll. So visit Crunchyroll's store for more information, which is store.crunchyroll.com. So check that out.
That's going to be a problem tonight as I sit here and go through my budget again. Like, well, time for that pre-order. Let's go.
Yes.
Want that showing up at my house as soon as humanly possible.
There we go. Sasaki and Miyano is a great boy love series. Nice. And then John Knight points out, Yu Yu Hakusho English dub came out to TV 20 years ago. Woo, classic.
Yeah, and I think this is the 30-year anniversary of the anime, full stop. So, like, it's been around for a minute, you guys. It has been around for a minute.
30th anniversary Blu-ray box set. Yes.
1993. Right. Oh, my God.
The 80s were only 20 years ago.
Stop that. No, they weren't. They were more than that. You know that. I know that.
I never think that, though. You know,
it was the 80s, 40 years ago. It's like, no.
You had news to cover.
Yes. Need to stop transcending reality over this and cover other news. Yes. Crunchyroll is going to have a presence at a music festival. It will be presenting the anime music experience at Second Sky, which is an annual music festival put on by Porter Robinson. So that is going to be, if you are in Northern California, that's going to be in Oakland on October 29th. So that will be very fun. Tickets are at secondskyfest.com. And Crunchyroll is bringing in, let me see if I can get the exact sentence. They're bringing in DJs from Tokyo's Akihabara anime nightclub Magra. So they're bringing in D Yama, Taku Inoue, and DJ Wild Party. So have fun, you guys. Like, if you're in Northern California and you are able to go to this sounds like a blast. So if you are comfortable in festivals, comfortable being around people, if you like Music Fest, like, check this out. This sounds fun.
Yes.
And for those outside of California going, well, you're in California, can't you go? It's like, you're in Florida, can't you go to Connecticut? No.
It's a little hop, skip, and a jump away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not impossible, but it's a commitment.
And it's not quite Florida, Connecticut.
No.
It's more Georgia, New York.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot.
All right. Then we have, I think that's it for covering for anime news, which are things we're excited about. So we got some Overwatch.
Oh my God, guys, we are nearing the end of our tournament arc, and I had all this pulled up and then I closed my phone. So let me pull this back up again. So this past weekend, we had the wild card tournament for APAC regions, and we had the last of the regular season's games for the Western region, which means that next week we are going to have the Western wild card tournament. And then, as I said before, on the 3rd and the 4th of November, which is a Thursday, Friday, is the semifinals and finals for this 2022 season. So for the Eastern wild card, the LA Valiant were the only team that was mathematically ineligible. So we had the Guangzhou Charge versus the Chengdu Hunters. And let's be real, I've been pulling for the Charge this season. They've been having a better second half of the season. Hunters took them down in a map 5. And then they went on to face the Hangzhou Spark, and the Spark defeated the Hunters. So traveling to Anaheim from the APAC region, we have the Hangzhou Spark as the winners of the APAC wildcard tournament. We also have the Shanghai Dragons, the Philadelphia Fusion, and the Seoul Dynasty. So that is a very good slate of teams. We had our last few matches for this week, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm a little sad. Because I say, like, some days, oh, it's a good week to be this fan. It's a good week to be this fan. It was not a good week to be an Outlaws fan. Last 2 regular season matches, and we drop them to Florida and to Toronto. 2 teams that we can definitely beat. And both teams, I believe, that are in the... Let me see if I'm right about this. Yes, both teams are in the wild card. Whereas... I love Houston. I love them so much. We had so many problems this weekend. It was not great. So, rough week to be a Houston fan. If you are a Toronto fan, not a Toronto fan. If you're a Toronto fan, you had a good weekend. If you are not Boston. I'm having a time today, you guys. It's a lot. If you're a Paris fan, if you're a New York fan, if you're a Vancouver fan, these were the last regular season matches. This is your last chance to see these teams this season. New York did okay, still not able to take it against Boston. I believe it was Boston. And no, it wasn't Boston. New York did not win their match. Paris took a map off of Boston. Paris really doing their best right up until the end. I think next season is going to be better for Paris once they're able to bring a little more team cohesion to things. But they've definitely got a promising lineup with their brand new rookies. So we will see how this goes for them. But that's next season. They also evidently announced that they are moving to Las Vegas for next season. So interesting. Well, I'm trying to figure out if it's in bad taste to make a Raiders joke when I'm a Broncos fan. And that is very much a football joke. For those like, what are you talking? Raiders moved from Oakland to Vegas like a year or 2 ago. So it's been a big change for the team. So yeah, to my understanding, Paris is doing that as well. So if you want to see games this weekend, we have games Friday and Saturday. We have our Western Wildcard Tournament with the Florida Mayhem up against the Boston Uprising and the Toronto Defiant versus the Washington Justice. And normally I'd say this is anyone's game, but Boston is involved. So I would say it's anyone's game but Boston's. You have a 75% chance. Well, I'm not going to say you have a 75% chance of picking a winner. That's rude. That's very rude of me, and also never do math in public. But of these 4 teams, I would be very surprised if Boston took it. They have been good recently, but I think in terms of just cohesion, like Punk is full on their best player. Punk is an amazing tank, but I don't think they'd be able to pull it out well enough to go against Washington Justice on a good day, Toronto as they've been recently, or Florida. Florida, again, took the Outlaws to the cleaners this past weekend, and you cannot count them out with the likes of Yaki and Someone. And yes, their tank player's username is Someone, and that has thrown me all season. Yeah, it's like, oh, look, someone's dancing. Oh, look, someone made a great play. And I'm like, who? Oh, this is a Florida match. It's the tank.
I knew a guy in high school named Guy.
So. Yeah, that's one of those. It's one of those, but more so.
Yeah,
like someone. What?
Why that name? I wonder.
It's the Who's on First of Overwatch, and it is not the weirdest, wildest, or there have been some buck wild names in Overwatch. There have been a good number of names where it's just the player's name. There have been names where it's last name, first name. There have been names where it's anime character. Or we have two players in the APAC region who are Xerneas and Yveltal, who are legendary Pokemon. So, like, yeah, we had a player on the Chengdu Hunters for a couple years who went by Yang Xiaolong. So, you never know. Usernames come from anywhere and everywhere. One of my favorites continues to be Jake. His name is Jake. His username is Jake. He was a player, and then he was an announcer, and now he's a coach, all on the Outlaws. Odysseus sends his regards kind of guy. Yeah. I honestly have no idea what the inspiration for someone's name was, but if it's that, I will lose my mind. Bless that boy. Anyway, between Mayhem, Uprising, Defiant, and Justice, I'm honestly going to put it on the floor to Mayhem. I would not be surprised if the Toronto Defiant also pulled it out, because they have been super scrappy ever since the Junker Queen was introduced. And for Washington Justice, it's going to depend on the day, because that's the Washington Justice. They're either on or they're off. And you legit have no idea which version of the team you're getting until they sit down and enter the match. So, could be either. Justice does not get... They're okay. If they were consistently on, they'd be amazing. And I don't think we can forget, I think it was last year, when they picked up Decay right before finals and then did a completely terrifying finals run with him on Zarya, on tank as Zarya. Like, I don't think we can forget the crazy Decay run. No one expected that, and it was very wild. So, Justice is capable of pulling out some completely crazy stuff, but they don't do it consistently. If they did it consistently, I would say they would be Dallas, San Francisco, they would be top level if they could manage that with any consistency, but they don't. They're a coin flip team, so we'll see. I think it's going to come down to Florida and Toronto, my very educated opinion. One of those teams is going to make it in, and then we will have the semifinals, we'll have the finals. I don't know if the wild card is going to be on the new patch. I don't think it is. I think because of the week skip, it's the semifinals and finals that are going to be on the new patch with Kiriko and with the other adjustments. So, leave it to Overwatch League to flip a table right before we go into finals. They do this fairly consistently. It's going to be wild. It's going to be a wild one. Because of that new patch, we have no idea how this is going to turn out. And I honestly don't know if the teams that are already confirmed are already practicing on that new patch. I wouldn't be surprised. And that does give them an edge over the wildcard teams. But we'll see. We'll see who's practicing on what. We'll see how these things turn out. It's going to be super wild. And again, if you're in Southern California, the semifinals and finals are going to be at the Anaheim Convention Center. It is a LAN event, and I will be there on Friday, provided that nothing goes horrifyingly wrong, knock wood. But that is the plan. I will be there probably in Gladiators gear, in the cheering section, losing my mind, because that is what I do at these events. So yeah, we're towards the end of the tournament arc, folks. Yeah. I feel like I don't have to say I love this shit when I have a segment for it, where you just sit here and let me go nuts for 7 to 10 minutes.
Sit back, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. Of like, that's it's not my forte, but I love your enthusiasm for it. And anyway, if you're a fan of Overwatch, please let us know who are your favorite teams. Please comment down below.
And also, if you don't have a team, tell me your favorite color or what kind of chaos you like, and I will assign you a team. I believe I assigned someone in the chat, Boston. You've had a hell of a season.
Then we got... well, I was like, it's a little bit of a stretch, but one hell of a season starting. We got Dark on my
It's going to be one hell of a season. This is, like I said, this is the war arc. It's going to be a lot.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot.
Oh wait, hold on. I was like, we got in chat. Yep. Real quick, we got Gigador says, I gave up Boston for London.
That is not a bad trade-off. London made it out of the play-ins. They are confirmed. Hottie is amazing. Backbone terrifies me, as does his alter ego Boneback, who is a DPS playing support. London is... Look at the color I'm wearing tonight. All right, This is London colors. London is not a bad way to go.
All righty.
I abandoned Boston for a winning team. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of abandoning teams, though.
Oh, that's a better segue.
Oh man, I think Hawks really does like twice, and it does suck of how things went. And
so before we go any further,
no spoilers,
no manga spoilers.
You've read it.
Like I said, I've had a few manga spoilers here and there, but I have no context for any of them and no idea when they're coming down the line. So I'm mostly just watching this season like, all right, one fear, let's go. What is that fear? Oh, it's a spoiler.
So it is one of those like, yes. Is it because I normally have no body, no proof, but
oh no, he's super dead.
Yeah, but this is a show where I feel like they can't be too graphic, so I feel that was enough.
Did kind of get to see the body. We got Hawks' intent, and we got the last standing double being unable to hold itself together and knowing that he's on his way out. Like, that was very much a death scene. I don't think we're going to have him bouncing back, especially since the preview for the next episode is Hawks versus...
Dobby.
Thank you. I completely
Who
forgot
knows Hawks'
that
real name?
Dobby. Just Dobby.
Yeah, we got we didn't get blood spatter. Okay, well, a couple quick things. So John Knight, said My Hero 6 season dub premiere. We are talking about what's on sub. So if you haven't watched this episode, you might want to come back later because we are.
If you haven't watched this episode, you've already been spoiled for the big thing.
I'm like, that's one of the big things. So.
Oh, dude. Mute the channel.
Yeah,
come back when the lower third changes.
So like.
We've been covering this for a couple weeks. That's how you know we're on sub schedule. So like, dude.
Or I mean, I like you can do the both too. Like you watch one and then watch again later. Yep. Because Charles goes, nah, he's dead.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, and then name Keigo Takami. Yes, that was that moment where Hawks went record scratch. What? How do you know my name? Again, no spoilers. I remember like inklings of people talk. I know there's like fan fiction too of Dobby and Hawks, and not that that's where this is going or anything.
It is a very popular pairing.
Yes, but I'm like, maybe there is some past that, Dobby doesn't look like who he was before, and Hawks doesn't recognize him.
Dobby is one of the spoilers I do have, and to be honest, he's that kind of spoiler where it's like, if you think you know, you might actually know. The show is not coy. Anyway, it's one of those things where I can't say anymore in case of inadvertently spoiling anyone else who may have no idea and be like, nah, don't Google it. But yeah, it does not surprise me that Dobby, of all people, who seems to be the person in the League of Villains who is the most with it, just in terms of being, I hesitate to call it a productive member of society, but a functioning member of this league. Like, no, he's not just a commander because he's ridiculously powerful. It's also because he's effective at his job. Yes. So it would not surprise me that he'd be digging into things, that he would know things, that he would look into stuff. Like, yeah. Dobby knows stuff he shouldn't. Of course he does. He's Dobby. And he's been the biggest threat in this league for a while. It's like, what about our main villain? No.
Here we go.
We sidelined the gamer bro for a reason.
High functioning sociopath.
Don't give me that Sherlock noise. I don't like. Not hearing that turn of phrase ever since BBC Sherlock. Forget that. Never liked
The
BBC
Agent
Sherlock.
of Chaos. You
it?
didn't.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
Oh my God. Moffat is a lot of fun when he can play in other people's sandboxes, but he's terrible at his own. Oh, are we getting a full tangent for this? Are we getting a full tangent for this? For someone who has been into Doctor Who for
I
and
was gonna
while.
say, I'll give you
Oh
30
boy.
seconds. Ready, and you got 30 seconds.
He really likes these big ideas, but kind of like J.J. Abrams, he has no idea how to execute them well. He really likes his male main character who is just smarter than everyone else and can kind of be an asshole for it, and everyone just loves him for it. And Sherlock did Irene so dirty. So dirty. So yeah, BBC Sherlock, if you like it, that's great. You are entitled to like it. That's perfectly fine. I really didn't care for it. I'm also one of those poor bastards who watched his Dracula adaptation, which was a gallivanting nightmare. So, yeah, I'm not here for anything that Moffat show runs. He just
That's fine.
he's good when he's in other people's sandboxes playing by other people's rules. When he's on his own,
that's fair. I feel like
you're allowed to like it. You're perfectly allowed to like it.
I think it
watched an episode.
It went weirder as it went. It was better at the beginning.
Oh yeah, no.
And then it was like, but anyways,
again, it's the J.J. Abrams problem.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, he's a creative. He knows his stuff. We're just going to let him do the thing. And then it's like, no, he needed some editorial control. What are you guys doing? Do something to rein this man back in.
Yes.
Anyway,
oh, wait, hold on.
I'm not here for Moffat.
No, but I was like, wait, come back, because we got a comment from the chat there. Don't worry. CBS Elementary Sherlock Holmes did Irene worse and made her and Moriarty the same person who tricked Sherlock into loving her. Interesting.
Okay, but Elementary did both Sherlock and Watson much better. Much better. I would say that your take on Moriarty and Irene, your mileage may vary for that thing, but I would prefer same person using trickery as opposed to canon lesbian who went straight for this one dude. Like, come on, guys.
Actually, though, I was gonna say, I was like, what was it? Yes. No, the best adaptation. No, I'm just kidding. It's not the best. But a very let's change it was Miss Sherlock, the Japanese show.
Oh.
And that one made Sherlock a woman and Watson a woman. And because it's Wato-san. So Watson.
I love it.
And it's so fun. And unfortunately, there's only one season. Because the main actor is no longer alive, but it is phenomenal. And if you get a chance to watch it, it's very fun Japanese television, and it's a very fun and playful Sherlock Holmes, which is what I generally like, that tone of that show. Or that.
Did you watch Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century when you were growing up? It was on like Fox Kids.
Maybe
he'd been like cryogenically frozen. They woke him up in the future. So. Watson was a robot. It was weird, but it was great. And of course,
I was like trying to look up a picture.
The seminal classic, The Great Mouse Detective.
Oh yes, Great Mouse Detective.
Oh
absolutely.
Yes. If you haven't watched that in a hot second, watch it. And also, Ratigan was voiced and sung by Vincent Price.
I was like trying to show my phone of the.
Was it the 22nd or 25th?
22nd.
I did remember that correctly. Anyway, so those are some good Sherlock adaptations.
Yes. Hey now. Also, if you're new here, we go on tangents of other shows, which I generally feel if you are here, those are other things you might like as well. Charles says Sherlock Hound. Sherlock Hound. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. If you're here, the tangents aren't always that inflammatory. I just have opinions.
No, it's fine. Let's get back to. Speaking of opinions about things, let's get back to. Yeah. There we go.
Again, it doesn't surprise me that Dobby is one of the more competent people here, as he has continued to prove himself to be one of the more competent people. Yes. So it doesn't surprise me that he has this evidently buried information about Hawks, because why wouldn't he? He's Dobby.
And Charles says he would have referring to Dobby, he would have legit killed twice if Hawks hadn't snatched him away. Yes, and I do feel bad for poor Twice, like, as he's realizing, I'm the fuck up. I'm the one who brought the people in, And you're
And
like,
you know how many times he did it? Twice.
yeah, it's like,
Poor
oh,
guy. He tries so very,
yep.
very hard. And it's one of those. This is what sent me about our previous arc, is that it was focused on our villains, and they got these arcs that you would usually see for heroes. They got the found family coming together. They got the power up arcs. Twice managed to get like he was able to overcome his trauma in order to save this person that he really cares about. Like, it's the sort of stuff where you're sitting there going, yes, this is so great. Oh God, they're villains. This is going to turn out really badly. It's that sort of thing. And seeing the flip side of it this season with Hawks going, yeah, when I heard you got over your trauma, I knew we were in trouble. And having to focus him down, and then still saying, come with me, turn yourself in, atone for your crimes, start new. I'll help you. You're a good person and I actually like you. And it just being too little too late.
Yeah, Charles says Twice is too good a guy to be a villain. It's just that society screwed him over so badly he had no other choice. I wouldn't say he had no other choice. He did not see another choice.
Yes.
There could have been something else he could have done, but that's the nature versus nurture of who he is and what he experienced. He didn't see any other way. And it's like,
well, and quirks also make all of this. They heighten all of this so much.
Oh,
and we saw this with
my brain.
My brain says the gentleman who was just in that little kind of festival arc. And it's not, I'm pretty sure it's not the gentleman. That's just me having watched 8 seasons of How I Met Your Mother. But it's something like that. And his whole thing was he really, really, really wanted to try. And he could never make the cut. So that's, having quirks kind of exacerbates all of this, and a quirk based in hero-based society. Gentle criminal. Thank you. That asshole. So it's for him, it was very much one of those cool motive, still murder things. It's like, no. These are a bunch of kids who've been traumatized, and you're going to mess it up for the views? Forget you. I had no sympathy for him.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you can understand how this sort of thing happens, and how mental health is not always treated as important as physical health, and is oftentimes ignored. And that was also a big deal for Twice, is having mental health struggles and not having anyone or a system that would be able or willing to support him, until he fell in with the League of Villains and again made these friends. And there was that big deal about, oh, okay, well, covering his head with your handkerchief. Like, okay, you'll be fine now. It ties you together. Like, yeah, you can see how people get into these situations. Very rarely is it straight up, oh, I'm evil. Sometimes it is, as we gesture loudly at All for One. That guy.
Well, it's also that thing too that we almost need it within a show like this. You almost need different characters to die to really explain the stakes. Because if everybody lived all the time, it's like, okay, so nobody's really in peril.
Yeah, But these big events are game changers. They rattle the status quo. We lost, what was it? It was a Night Eye. I'm really bad at all of these names. Lemillion lost his quirk. Just things like that. It's like, there are stakes. These things do happen. It's not just going to be the same for 8,000 episodes of filler, and then maybe we'll get something filling in. They're going places. It's meant to do things, and we know that, oh, we just lost a character we introduced him at the beginning of the season, and then we lost him, and it was very tragic. It was, oh, he's been around for a while, and we got to like him, and we rooted for him, and he is super dead by someone that is also super popular with the audience. So it's one of those, like, my fave just killed my fave? Oh boy. Which is not my situation. Neither of them are my fave, but like, yo, I see you, fandom. I see you out there. Y'all doing okay? The answer is no. None of us are.
It's a lot. Yeah. I was like, what are some other, I'm trying to think of any other big, I mean, that's probably one of the biggest parts of that episode, I felt like, of.
Yeah,
A
that
lot of
is the episode. It was
yeah.
focused on Hawks and Twice, and also
Yeah.
Dobby getting in there and
Yep.
upending things as Dobby is wont to do.
Yes.
But for the most part, this is Twice's final episode, so we do get, yeah, rotisserie
Charles says,
chicken,
"House is now a crispy bird after those Dobby flames."
rotisserie chicken,
Oh.
y'all. DFC, Dobby fried chicken.
Mm.
I'm not a good person. You let me do these things and I make these awful, awful jokes about this sort of thing.
Okay.
It's this is what y'all put up with when you give me a platform. Anyway, God, Dobby fried chicken. What's the logo look? I'm seeing Dobby with like the Colonel Sanders beard now. Again, I continue to not be a good person.
Okay, this was pretty cool. Good point. Thank you. Charles says Takoyami using the dark shadow to seal up the main tunnel along with the heroes stuffing the other exits. Yeah, and that dark shadow goes, "Yo, there is a monster down there."
It's like there is an actual monster down there. It's
No,
like, well, Intel
go.
says that he won't move unless names, hands. You know who I mean by hands.
Yep. I'm like
our villain.
Shigaraki.
Shigaraki, thank you. It's brain like Civ tonight, you guys. It is brain like Civ.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, like he won't move unless Shigaraki says something, and we know Shigaraki's in a test tube.
Yeah, but our heroes
miles
don't know
away.
that fully yet, so.
Yeah, but they know he's out of commission because Twice told Hawks.
True. Okay.
And Hawks passed that on.
Yes.
So it's like, we don't have to worry about that monster. And I'm like, I'm waiting for
chat.
this to go to hell. Yes, thank you, chat. Thank you for filling in the gaps in my memory because it's
okay.
big Monday energy.
All right, so that was our shot. Anything else before we get into our chaser?
I think that's the big deal. Just, we had a bunch of other little fight vignettes that were a lot of fun. We are going to get into, oh God, not top shelf. Oh God, what are they called?
Yes,
the Nomu,
I know.
the fancy Nomus. I'm high end. It was high end.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep calling them top shelf because that's what my brain is.
I liked the montage of our heroes getting to use their full power, so their full ability, which I'm like, keep giving me more of that. I want to see that.
Just wrecking people, but in a non-lethal way, except for maybe Edgeshot, who's like, I've opened a hole in your lung. Thanks! If you move, you'll die. If you just lie there, it'll seal itself up. Yes. Like, oh, anime physics. Gotta love anime physics, along with anime biology. Like, this is exactly how this works.
Well, I was thinking of, I like connecting things and puns. So if you haven't noticed, I was like, wait,
chaser.
No, but I was like literally chasing her around. Poor Yor running after Anya. Like, hey, I gotta go do this thing.
Yeah, I appreciate your straight up donkey kicking a car and then calling the police and going, yeah, it's that same housewife from earlier. I found the other terrorist. He's here. I don't think he's going anywhere. Bye! Just, man.
And how they all conveniently ended up on the same street.
That was great.
That was adorable. And I think Inu-san is actually a cute name. Mr. Dog is.
I miss calling him Borf.
And Borf.
I will miss calling him Borf. His name is Bond now, which is I thought she was gonna just whole ass name the dog Bond Man, but Bond is good. Especially for this family. Bond is good.
I thought it was going to be Bond Man. I'm like, dude, this is really long. Dog names, the shorter the better. Like 1 syllable, 2 max. Like you want to keep it nice and tight for you to say and for your dog to understand you.
Or if they've got a whole big thing, nickname.
Yes.
Like you're allowed to have.
It could be like an official name, but what are you going to call them?
Yeah, the pedigree names, but also something they will need to respond to. And evidently pedigree names need to be 3 words and also entirely unique. There is a Tumblr post explaining it, and then someone summarized it as pedigree shitpost bingo, and then realized that pedigree shitpost bingo would be an acceptable pedigree name. That's all I can think of whenever pedigrees come up is that. Wait, you're Tumblr trash? Yeah, when I say all the social medias, I mean it. Uh,
I like that
I
all the
lived
dogs
there
are
and I
going to
have
be
for years.
rescued.
Yeah,
The handler's like, we're going to take care of all of them. Okay.
and last week we talked about like whether or not this comedy can come back from the idea of shooting a dog. And I appreciate that they had very much prepared for put the guard on the arm, get the dog to bite there, take the vest off. Like they had
Mm-hmm.
very much prepared for save the super intelligent dog, but get rid of the bomb. Like I was
And
wondering
he's
how
just
they were
that
going to
good of
do
a
it.
shot to be like, choo, choo, off.
Yep, of course he is. He's Twilight. But I
So fresh cut grass. Guess so. Then we also got Charles says Bond was a
That's
good
the
boy.
critter in the audience. I appreciate you. That is a Critical Role joke. There is a character named Fresh Cut Grass this season, and he is wonderful and terrifying and might also be a multiple thousand-year-old murder bot. We love Fresh Cut Grass. He's our cleric this time around, and he's like a first-year psych student trying to be a therapist. It's wonderful. So
Nice.
yeah, fresh cut grass might actually work as a pedigree name. Oh no. Thank you for that. I'm going to take that with me tonight. That brought me joy. Thank you.
Trying to think of
anyway.
The next bit though that we love is Anya going to school and expressing, I got a dog, trying to win points. Her expectant
this is also after Anya going, so I'm not going to win any stars for stopping terrorists because we have to keep it a secret. Curses. All right, I guess I got to make friends with Second Son. Let's go.
And also rewinding before that, the moment where she goes, I'm going to misbehave and not do anything unless I get the dog. It's like, well played, well played.
So much for not negotiating with terrorists. Damn.
Yeah.
But also Handler saying, I had a daughter her age once.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're going to go put it. Yeah. Right back in these are all people who have lived through war versus these students who became terrorists who have no idea. So it's also like, how old is Handler? How long ago did this war end and how old is Handler? So it's one of those things where, again, this is a fun spy show about found family and a little kid who's psychic and like, what the show shows us is a lot of essentially Bond Man. The show has hung a lampshade on itself by showing us Bond Man, but it's also like, hey, we're a spy comedy, we're fun. And occasionally it really does rip that mask off and go, yeah, so this whole thing about, we're trying to prevent a war. This is what happens when you fail to prevent a war. All of these people have lived through this. Like it's very, very powerful when it does that. Because, again, it took 15 episodes for it to do that. And that's after we've been in these crazy, wonderful comedy scenarios and gotten to really love all of these characters. So this show does not waste its opportunities when it does take the time to be like, we are going to make this point. We are going to make this point vividly and carefully and forcefully. And then we can back off and we can have Anya realizing she has no idea how to defuse a bomb. But yeah, some of the most powerful points can be made in comedy. This is also why I tell everyone to read Discworld, because the writing of Terry Pratchett is extremely powerful, partially for that reason. So yeah, this show kind of slipping the mask back on, but at the end kind of letting us know, oh yeah, you don't know these people's stories. We've seen one scene of Twilight as a child wandering through war-torn streets and crying, and that's all the backstory we have for him. We know that Yor had to raise her younger brother. Like, we have no idea what happened to Anya. And evidently, the mangaka's original idea was he wanted to do a manga about, like, to my understanding, this is from a recent interview, he wanted to do a manga about kids being experimented on in a hospital. And it's like, that's a little dark. And Spy Family was his recovery from burnout, getting back into the game, learning to love his craft again manga. And so it's for him, it's like he's really touched. that it's hit this many people and that this many people absolutely love it, because this was him getting back into things after being fried in a very, very demanding industry. So yeah, so Spy
quick
Family
comment from the
goes
chat.
for the heart.
This World's Amazing. Mort is one of my favorite books.
Mort is an amazing book. Reaper Man is my favorite. And it's one of those books where you can't tell people to start with Reaper Man because you need the context for the powerful moments to be powerful. Yeah, Reaper Man is a what if we shake up the status quo book, and you need to know what the status quo is in order for that to really hit home. It also involves wizards attempting to murder a sentient shopping mall that shouldn't be there. I love Reaper Man. It's very, very good. Yes. So yeah, Spy Family is very, very powerful when it chooses to be, and it says a lot that it doesn't choose to do that very often, and that when it does, it just both barrels goes for it and succeeds. So yeah, just bringing it home. Yeah, the fact that they brought it home with that little bit about Handler that presumably no one there knew, as well as the audience not knowing. It's like, no, I get it. I had a daughter her age, and it's like, that's the past tense. You okay? I'm gonna go with no, you're probably not okay, but like, you okay? Like, no one's okay, but we're working on it.
Also, speaking of family, and I'm curious how things will go. Twilight has this moment of soon this mission will be over, and I'm gonna say bye to these people. I'll probably check in on them, but yeah, peace out. But I don't think
I think he's overestimating. He's overestimating how quickly this mission's going to be over.
That too.
And also, like, yeah, I don't think that, for one, this is a comedy manga. You can go on for forever if you want.
Yeah.
For another, like, dude, you're already attached.
Yeah.
You are already attached. Like, you can't. There's no way you're going to be able to disentangle yourself from this family without hurting yourself and them pretty badly. Like, sorry, you care. Sorry, dude, you care too much. You and Yor did that little thing where you took the toy and the stuffed penguin and you did spy things with Anya to make her feel better. So, like, nah, buddy, you're invested. You're not the world's best parent. You have no experience in this. But you are invested and you are trying, and that does count. You are still raising a child.
I like that moment at the end when they're watching Anya sleep with Bond, and Yor's like, is that an angel in our midst? It's like, oh, yeah. She is right now while she's asleep.
Most kids are when they're asleep.
Right, yes. I think the only other main thing was just we said kind of how, she tried to impress the other kids, or at least start with Becky as the test run and then go to Damien. And
I love Becky's internal monologue, like, oh, she's over her Starlight phase. Good. Tell me about your puppy.
Yes. And then we get play dates and she's so excited. Yeah. And poor little Damien, in a way, getting so flustered, like, oh, wait, did I hurt her?
Was it really that rude? Oh my God.
That was
what's his name? Funny. Okay, forget you. Just the whole, like, his name is Dog. And just the whole thing at the dog park, asking people about their dogs' names. Tell me your secrets was said at one point, which is just chef kiss.
That's cute, though. I can see
that.
This episode had a lot of absolute, like, what a kid would ask of, like, how did you decide?
Oh, yeah.
No, shout out to the Bond moment where that bulldog tried to take Anya's gloves and Bond just did the death stare, and poor bulldog.
It's over here like, excuse you. Those don't belong to you. Those are mine now. Just naming the kid Bond. I thought for sure naming the dog Bond. I thought for sure Twilight's reaction would be like, oh my God. And instead it's like, no, that's a good name. You picked a good name after Bond. Good for you. It's like, oh, you can do that positive reinforcement thing when you're not being held hostage by your child, who knows just as much about this mission as you do because she's psychic. Yeah. Yep.
Though they had a moment where he's talking about defusing a bomb. So does that mean he knew that was her who was there?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I
Because
think
that
that he
exchange was like, wait, what? Does that mean he knew? Or was just a joke about defusing a bomb?
I think he could understand the warning, and then the fact that
Hmm.
they were able to look in the little window and be like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
no, there is a bomb there. Okay, let's leave the warning up. The secret police are here. They can deal with it." Like, I don't think he knew that it was Anya. Like,
Yeah.
there is something weird about there being a warning written in ketchup, but like, I don't think he knew.
And as a child. It doesn't seem like she can quite talk to the dog like psychically yet. She can see the projections that
Yeah.
Bond has. Yeah.
Yeah, when the dog sees the future, oh boy, that's a sentence. When the dog sees the future, she can also see that. And it helps that Bond is super intelligent for a dog, as it were.
Yes.
So, yeah, we saw the experimentation on Bond, like, ugh, this, ugh,
Yep.
ugh. He's a good
Uh
boy.
yes, and we're glad he finally has a happy family.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
And
was
it's
coughing
like
in my
he
back.
saw himself in their
Yes.
future, and then he had a moment of, oh no, we're going to lose one. We've prevented that future. Like,
Mhm.
a future predicting dog was not something I expected, but
No,
fits right in with this family.
it does.
And
It
a
does.
dog big enough for Anya to ride. I mean, can definitely see why. Also because of just the bond with Bond, as it were. But like, if you're a little kid and you found a dog that's
Uh,
willing to carry you around and it's big enough for you to ride safely, like, oh my god, yes.
Gigadare says she read the mind of the bulldog. I didn't interpret that as her reading its mind. I interpret it more as like,
That was for the audience.
yeah, that was just for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely read that as that's for the audience. That's giving the audience that moment of this is the bulldog, just so we can
Yeah.
see because we know Bond well enough to understand the mannerisms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, but definitely it continues to be fun episodes, and we're looking forward to more.
Yes.
All right.
I don't even know where we're going next from here.
Nope.
But
I know.
it's your focused. It's back to her catty ass
Mm-hmm.
coworkers. Her extremely catty coworkers,
Yes.
whom I love.
Yes.
It's gonna be a wild one.
Where'd it go?
But
Okay.
I'm looking
Yes.
forward to it. It'll be fun. Yeah, because that
Indeed.
was our episode preview, and it's like, okay, is it Saturday? Is it Saturday now? When's the next episode? Give me the whole season. Binging
Yeah.
has ruined me for like, give me
Right.
all of it right now.
It does make a difference in that. So I was like, "Ooh, wait,
Mhm.
there it goes." I was trying to find my button to click here. Yeah. Yes. Other things you should check out, which would tie into the binging. I waited till they were all available. I finally watched the Lord of the Rings Rings of Power series on
Oh.
Amazon. Very cool. If you've never watched Lord of the Rings, you'll still enjoy it. I watched those movies a long time ago. So it is very, very, very vague memories for me. And no, I haven't seen them a million times. I've been kind of meaning to rewatch them. But it's just a very fun action, fantasy, adventure series. I think the cast is phenomenal. All of them knocked it out of the park. You believe them and their energy and the chemistry between them and other characters. So it's just such a pleasure to watch everybody in their roles. So do recommend that if you have access to Amazon.
It's an interesting one. I haven't watched it, but to my understanding, Amazon was not able to license the Silmarillion, like the origin story of Middle
Mm.
Earth. The Token Estate would not license that to them. So they were able to use all the stuff that had been covered in other ways in video games. That was kind of in between things,
I
which is
think
why
it's
the
the
show's about.
appendix too, because it
Yeah,
says like based on
yeah.
the books and the appendix or something.
Yeah, it's why the show is about the Second Age instead of an adaptation
Mhm.
of the Silmarillion. So that's the backstory for people going, this is a little like no, it's very much this is what we were able to license, so this is what we're doing. So not a bad thing, just a reason
Oh yeah,
because you would expect the Silmarillion to be the next big, and the Token Estate went, nah, no, not like this, not to you.
I,
Like,
I think my
okay.
only funny thing that I'd have to go cross check is there were some scenes or locations, and it made me really think of Wheel of Time. It was
Yeah.
also Amazon that I'm like, did you use the same sets at all? or is it just very similar? Which is cool because it had a like, oh wait, I recognize it. But yeah, action. If you like action, adventure, and fantasy, it's a very cool show to check out.
Yeah.
Yeet. Real quick too. John Knight says, have you checked out Tokyo Ghoul yet? Because I have season 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. I watched the very beginning of it. I don't remember how far I got of the anime. And then I've seen the live action movie, which I thought was actually really good. So if you have a chance to watch the live action Tokyo Ghoul movie, it is very entertaining as well.
Tokyo Ghoul is another one that's not really my speed, so I don't think it's going to be on my watch list. And that's life sometimes.
Totally fine. What about you? What have you been watching, reading, binging, checking out? Anything?
Chucky continues to be a very solid show. And if you're into it and if you're watching it, if you've got a cable subscription and you're watching it live, they do Chucky and then they show Reginald the Vampire. And then at 11 p.m. Pacific, they do a little 10-minute behind the scenes featurette for the episode where they talk about what went into it. They do a minor kill count. It's a little bit masterpiece theater because Chucky is emceeing it from an armchair. So that's the bit. Funny. It's funny. But they do behind the scenes, they do interviews, they talk about what went into making that particular episode, what the inspirations were. It's great that there's these little featurettes. And then, of course, Dead Meat on YouTube, I've talked about them before, has an after show where they're able to interview, the first episode, they interviewed Don Mancini. The second episode, they interviewed 3 of the main cast. They've gotten to watch these episodes in advance, and then they've gotten to pre-tape these after shows with these guests. And the insight is fantastic. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's 2 people who very obviously love the show, talking with the people who are involved with the show and have fun behind the scenes stuff. So I recommend it. If you are into Chucky, if you're into the Child's Play franchise, the show continues to be great. If you want a quick catch up, watch the kill count recounts on that Dead Meat YouTube channel. It's a good way to get caught up with the if you don't have time to watch 7 movies and then 13 episodes of a TV show, that's a good way to get caught up. Do still recommend going through it if you are horror movie person, into Child's Play, into that franchise. Do the thing, win the stuff. It's fun. Yeah. There was something else I was going to recommend that had to do with today's viewing and whatnot, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. It was something else that we talked about previously. Obviously watch From Dusk Till Dawn if you're into horror. It's a good time. And I started watching I'm the Villainous, so I'm going to tame the main boss, or the final boss. One of the 2. I can't remember the exact terminology. One of those really long light novel titles. Because I was like, all right, Parallel World Pharmacy has ended either entirely or for now. I'm not entirely certain if they're going to get another season. I have no idea. So this one looks like fun. I kind of need a pastoral fantasy. Let's go. This is not a pastoral fantasy. I was wrong. This is a comedy. It's one of those, for those of you who follow me on Twitter, I had a late night Saturday talk about it because I'd watched the first 2 episodes. And then the 3rd and 4th episode were what if we speed run the emotional beats? And it got a little weird. It's still a comedy, but it's isn't this stuff that you should be doing on episode 10 or 11 of 13? What is happening? So I don't quite know what's happening with this show. It's an isekai, but they only really use the isekai bit so the protagonist knows the plot beats of what's supposed to happen, but her personality is still mostly drawn from her upbringing in this world. There are some writing issues where we have informed attributes as opposed to seeing things happen, but they just wanted to lay the groundwork and go. It feels a little bit like the first 4 episodes feel a little bit like a speed run of a first season. So I haven't read the manga or light novel or whatever this is adapted from. I have no idea where we're going from here. So it was a little wild to get those emotional beats that early. But the comedy's amazing. I was howling the entire 2nd episode because this is a show where you think it's playing things straight, but the comedic timing for some of the things it does is so good. like our final boss that she's romancing, our demon lord, is the kind of guy who he's kind of been living in the woods for a while in a castle, like he's doing his own thing, it's okay, but it also means that he will absolutely ollie out of a conversation in a cloud of sparkles if he just decides he doesn't want to be there anymore. And every time he does it, it's hysterical. It's the magical version of the Mass Effect Commander Shepard. I should go. Conversation's over. Bye. It's like, no, come back. And a cloud of sparkles. Really, you're a demon lord. Sparkles. It's wild. It's so wild. And again, episodes 3 and 4 are a little like, this got really serious really quickly. What exactly are we doing? But it's so hard to describe how this show does its thing. But I'm really enjoying how this show is doing its thing. So I'm going to keep watching it. But it's not the pastoral fantasy I thought it was. So I'm going to have to go back to the list. I did see the Bibliophile Princess recommendation. Again, the Mother's Basement did their ones to watch for fall video. So that's kind of what I've been pulling things from. I had my eye on this. It was one of his runners up and was like, sure, let's do it. And then it wound up being super bizarre, but I'm into it. So, like, if you're here for an isekai kind of fantasy, definitely comedy, weird screwball thing where I still can't figure out what they're trying to do, but I'm enjoying the path we're taking, I'm the villainess, so I'm taming the final boss. Why not? Join me in this madness. It's a good time.
Yeah.
I still need to add something else to the list. I don't know what yet. I might just catch up on Ghost Game now that I'm 50 episodes behind. We'll see.
A couple other quick ones in the chat. Charles says House of the Dragon has been amazing. Haven't had a chance to watch that, but interested. And yes, new interview with Vampire TV adaptation is good. Yes, very much agree.
I saw a Kotaku article where the headline was just the new interview with the vampire adaptation. It was probably inspiring fan fiction. Anne Rice's spirit is probably enraged. I'm like, yes. Anne Rice really hated fan fiction and was one of the authors known for sending cease and desists to fanfiction writers and also suing them to get them to stop writing, which is yikes. So
I think it kind of depends on like what level of influence do you have as a writer in terms of the fan fiction writer. Like if you and I just wrote something and like shared it with our friends, who cares?
Well,
but like if I'm
fan fiction writer
a lot and it's like millions of copies,
that's the thing. Fan fiction, you can sell fan art, you can sell fan comics. You can't sell fan fiction. People get really nerky about that. It's weird. You can do things on commissions, but you can't like post your Ko-fi on Archive of Our Own. And they have a team of lawyers for that reason. Stuff like that. But the idea behind fan fiction is go ahead and write it. Do not send it to the creators. They legally cannot read it.
Yep.
Because if you write something and it turns out they're writing something similar, they need to be able to say, I've never seen that before in my life. These are my own ideas. So like write your fan fiction, have fun. Do not send it to creators. It could get them in legal hot water. There has been precedence for that. A creator got sued by a fan fiction writer, which was also yikes. So like have your fun. Do not send it to creators. Absolutely send it to other fans who are into it and like post it on AO3. That's what it's there for. Share it with your fellow fans. Have a good time. Put it on Tumblr. Put it on Twitter. Have fun. Just do not send it to the creators just to make sure that it does not become a legal liability for them.
Yes.
Creators going after fan writers just before writing fan fiction, even if they're not trying to make a profit off of it, is a hell of an option and does not do things for your reputation as a creator. It's one thing to have to keep your IP and protect your IP. It's another thing to be that guy. And Anne Rice, in terms of fan creations, was that guy. Markedly so. So I'm kind of loving this new adaptation. I'm kind of loving that it exists and that it is inspiring new creators. Because at this point, the fan writer to published author pipeline is established. Write an AU, file off the serial numbers, and get it published. It's a thing. It happens. What do you think 50 Shades of Grey is? And honestly, it's a legitimate strategy. There's nothing wrong with writing fan fiction. It's the way that a lot of people get started and are able to hone their writing chops, because you write a lot of bad stuff before you start writing good stuff. Practice is important. And I say this as someone who definitely has an account on fanfiction.net that's at least 2 decades old and has some stuff where it's like, good luck finding it. I don't use anything like that screen name anymore. And I mean, if you find it, you read it, you enjoy it, have fun. Have fun. You know? Nothing wrong with writing fan fiction. Just, again, don't show it to the creators. It causes problems.
Yes.
But yeah, so if people are being inspired to write fan fiction because of this new Interview with the Vampire adaptation, amazing. Go nuts. Have a good time. I think it's still outlawed on fanfiction.net, but you can definitely post it on AO3 and they will have your ass as long as you're not trying to sell it. I've been in these circles for years. I've been in these circles for years.
Well, I was going to say, that kind of does bring us to the end, though. We got to sign off.
It does.
So, yes, we hope you
One
all
more
had
tangent
fun
corner
here.
for the end.
I know, I almost was like, that's fine. Yeah. Banner, yeah. No, it was adjacent, and then
things you should check out. Fan fiction. You should absolutely check out fan fiction of that thing you love.
Yes. And we love that you tuned in and joined us this evening or tomorrow morning or whenever you watch this. Totally cool. Leave a comment down below. Thank you very much for everybody who joined us in the live chat. And Katie, where can people find you online?
You can follow me all over the social medias, and yes, there is a Tumblr involved in that one, at Kiaxet, that is Kiaxet. I am also on YouTube and Twitch with that name, and if you are into reactions, we do have a reaction up for the Kiriko Overwatch short, so that's available. I am also a host on Silver Screams, that is Silver_Screams on the social medias, Silver Screams on YouTube. We do horror reactions. We recently did reactions for the trailer for the Spirit Halloween movie. They made a movie based on Spirit Halloween stores, and a reaction to the Megan trailer. So if you would like to see me transcend reality for 14 and a half minutes on camera, watch the reaction to that Megan trailer. Because if you've watched the trailer, you know exactly why it threw me. And if you haven't watched the trailer, you can get the same surprise I did. Wow. You've seen the trailer, you know. You know.
Yes.
You know.
Somebody earlier, when you were saying, is it Saturday yet? We got a nice send-off. Giga Derek says, is it Monday yet? Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Yay.
Dude.
We are happy to bring you Monday love and Monday energies. Critical
Role's sign-off is it Thursday yet? So this really is imitation being the sincerest form of flattery here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, actual sincere thank you very much for watching, everyone. And you can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's Karidlane. And then, yes, stay tuned because Animation Film Festival is coming up, and we're probably going to be there and probably going to bring you some coverage. So stay tuned. Follow us on that. Yes. And make sure to follow Fanversation on all the social media platforms. Give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe. And thank you, everybody who joined us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.